Push pop enclosure check. MTV, welcome to her crib. Check this out, dude. So good. It's so sick. Water line. Hose reel. Push pop's forest. Netting. Dig box. So she can dig in there. This is Push pop's new enclosure. It's large. Ta-da. She's gonna love it. She's gonna love it. And this gate has to be huge because within 10 years, Push pop is gonna be like either 100 or 200 pounds. Thank you for the Prime. And so we have this so that we can drive a vehicle in to take, if we have to take her to the vet or somewhere, because we might not be able to lift her out. Push pop's inside space where she will have heating for the winter. And there's a dig box as well. Push pop is a sulcata tortoise. Sorry guys. Sulcata tortoise is the 3rd largest species of tortoise in the world. And then we're planning on doing planter boxes here so we can grow her treats like hibiscus and fruits and veggies and stuff. So we're gonna try to grow some of our own, see what happens. Why does it say sex unknown? Because we don't know. It's really hard to tell because she's younger and smaller right now. It'll become more obvious as she gets older based on both her size and what the shape underneath her shell looks like. So we don't actually, I say her, but we don't actually know. Hi, Finn! How easy is it to get hibiscus to grow in Texas? It takes a lot of water and a lot of shade. And then they have to be replanted every year. But it's a pretty common like landscaping plant because it's like, it's really pretty. Hey buddy, how you doing? I wouldn't plant it if it wasn't something that she wanted to eat, but sulcatas love hibiscus. Mr. Finn! He's getting fluffier, have you guys noticed that? Because it's fall now. They're gonna get so fluffy in the winter. I love it. New toy, so nice. And Reed? Reed, what if we came and said hello? Oh. I won't come over there, that's okay. What about you? Hi, Reed. That's Reed. Sniffing. Reed is an American red fox. He was born in the wild in the central coast of California and was orphaned in the wild, so he was raised by people. His story is similar to Abbott's in that he's been under human care his whole life. Originally, I think it was thought that we couldn't release. This wasn't me that rehabbed him when he was a baby. It was another facility. I think originally the thought was with an orphaned red fox, they couldn't be released because there was some confusion on the difference between American red foxes and European red foxes. So they thought that this was European red fox and then releasing would be illegal because that would be invasive. Now we're starting to learn that they're a different subspecies, that they are American red foxes, and that they're not invasive at all. So I would have loved for Reed to be released when he was a baby, but at this point, he's non-releasable. Finn, the one digging over there, is also an American red fox. He was born in captivity for the pet trade. He was a confiscation from the illegal pet trade in California. So whether that means that somebody bought him as a pet and then surrendered because they were like, oh my God, I can't have a fox in my house, or that it was reported, or they found out that they had a pet fox and then went and confiscated it. I'm not sure. But it's illegal to have foxes as pets in California. So that's why we have the 2 of them. And they're here, we teach people about the fur trade with the 2 of them and about the pet trade. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Finn and Reed are really, really great examples of why Alveus is so great. The model of Alveus is so great in different ways. So for Reed is a very anxious boy. I don't think that he could be at a facility. Do you not want, okay, I'm gonna go over there so he doesn't feel like he's trapped. Reed is a very anxious guy. I don't think that Reed could be at a facility that was open to the public, like a traditional facility, like a zoo or something. I think his quality of life would be terrible because he would just be super stressed out all the time. That being said, because he's non-releasable, his options are either be at a facility, like a zoo or a sanctuary, or be euthanized, because he can't just be released in the wild. So he couldn't be at a normal zoo where there were like kids walking around and screaming. I think he'd be super miserable and super stressed all the time. But he can be here, and he can still reach millions of people a year just by being here and being on the cams that he doesn't even know are cams, and he doesn't know you guys are here. All he knows is there's one person in here right now, you know? And that's such a crazy concept that he doesn't have to experience any stress to teach this many people. Like, how cool. So Reed is a great example of that. And then for Finn, this is really interesting. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Finn has seizures sometimes. I don't know if you guys have seen those on the cams. And at his age and stage, frequency of seizures, a vet would typically prescribe a seizure medication. But the seizure medication is going to take years off of his life if he was on it. The only reason that he's not on a seizure medication is because of the live cams, because we're able to know exactly when, how long, and what his seizures look like. Because if we didn't have live cams, we wouldn't know, and we would have to assume that he's having them more frequently. Like if he was at a normal zoo, we would have to assume that he was having them more frequently. So he would be on that medication. But because we have the live cams, our vet has said that we don't need to do that yet, because we have like a log of, even video log of what his seizures look like. So that's really cool too from a husbandry perspective. Any plans for citizen science using the live cams? Yes, we are building a pollinator garden, and we're gonna get so much freaking data, so much data from you guys, and you're gonna be scientists, all of you, and we're gonna record how many pollinators come into our pollinator garden, and we're gonna pass all the information on to scientists and researchers and Xerces. We're gonna change the world. Can we wear lab coats? Yeah, if you want.
Wow.
I refuse to write anything down, therefore I'm not doing science. Okay, it's fine. There's plenty of other people in chat that can do the science if you're really opposed to it. I'm actually super excited about the invertebrate citizen science project though, because I've said this before, and I said it at the panel at TwitchCon, but when I went to this invertebrate conference, right, this bug conference, and they were talking about this huge invertebrate study, citizen science study that they were doing around the nation, and they got 400 observations, and that's awesome. But I was also, when I heard that, I was like, 400 observations is a huge, like, national study. Like, we got how many people here right now? And like, how many of you would be willing to do some observations and like bring in data? I was like, wait, I know Alveus is super impactful and I know it's huge, but like we actually have the opportunity to make a serious impact in the world of invertebrate conservation. 400 data points was like a big national study that was presented at this huge invertebrate conference. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like what we're capable of doing at Alveus with this amount of people? Like, isn't that sick? I'm really excited about it. Across the world too, right? Yeah. So we have a couple ideas for that. One, we want to do an Alveus pollinator census. So we'll have a ton of data about the pollinators here at this location. But then I also want to make like a branch off of show and tell of sorts, where you guys are sending in your observations of pollinators where you are, because we have a ton of EU viewers. We have a ton of people that are posting show and tell internationally already. And I know that there's data that we can be collecting from that. That's that plan.